how's it going today? DLF at Wonderboy Brewery. I wanted to take some time to talk about making hard cider. Now, hard cider is very, very, very simple to make, and I do it every year. I'm excited that fall's coming, apple season's coming, a lot of fresh pressed cider to make a lot of different types of ciders. But I want to address something that I've been doing some research on. You can actually use stuff that you get from the grocery store. Now, that's including, whatever brand you prefer. I went with organic, and I also went with unfiltered because, I don't know, it just gives me a feeling that I'm actually using, actual cider pressed. But you can use the stuff that's nice and cleared for you too. I also found out, I thought before you should stay away from pasteurized stuff. You actually should, because it kills any of the sorbates or benzates or whatever that might be in something like this. But I checked, there is nothing like that in here, so we're good to go. But I also want to express how easy it is to do it with just a couple of dollars worth of juice and something to ferment in. So, with all things, the most important thing when you're brewing to do is make sure everything's sanitized. So this is Star San. This huge jar of this was, I want to say like $30, but I've also had it for a year and a half. You use a very small amount per gallon, and what I do is I have a couple of spray bottles like this, and I fill it and add the Star San so I have it on hand all the time. So all the things that I'm using are right here on the table. This is a 1 gallon jug that I actually got from Northern Brewer for 1 gallon. I do a lot of 1 gallon experimental kits before moving over to the big 5 gallon. So this is has already been cleaned. I'm just going to sanitize this. I have a special lid or cap for the jug, so it perfectly fits the airlock in there. Airlock, and then a funnel to funnel some of the stuff in. So I'm going to sanitize all this stuff first, and then we'll talk a little more as we get to the cider part. Alright, so hopefully after everything is done being sanitized, you're ready to go. Now, I'm going to simply, I want to sanitize. I have a cloth right here if you can't see it, but I kind of go nuts with the sanitizer. Sometimes my friend Tony makes fun of me because of that. So, the hard part is already done as far as making cider. We've sanitized everything, and now for this portion, if I can open this, I'm just going to pour until I get to, the 1 gallon is written right here on this jug. I'm going to pour until it's full. Until it gets to the 1 gallon spot. Okay, the reason why I left a little bit of room here is because obviously it's going to start fermenting and go crazy, and we don't want to have a catastrophe going on. So we want to leave a little room for that kind of action with the yeast. Let's talk yeast for a minute. There's a ton of different yeasts out there. If you know what you're doing as far as yeast is concerned, you can figure out which one you want to use, or if you have a special brand. I like Fermentis. Everything that I've used with Fermentis has not let me down during the winter, during the summer. Usually I experiment more with liquid yeast when it's colder, because obviously it gets to me in a better state. But I always have something of Fermentis on hand. Safe L05 for ales, Safe L04 for like a little more creamy or lager. They also have special lager. yeast. And today, for the first time, I'm going to be using Safe Cider AB1. Safe Cider AB1 is a balanced yeast, and let me tell you what that means. So if you like dry ciders, they have a yeast for dry ciders, so it'll finish more dry. If you like sweet ciders, they also have a yeast that you can use, so it will ferment, but it will stop at a certain point to kind of give you more of the essence of the fruit and a little more sweetness. This, the AB1, is a balance between both of those, so I'm really excited to use that. Now normally this one whole pack equals, you can put it in a 5-gallon, but since I'm using one, I'm going to probably use about a third of this. Normally that would probably be about a tablespoon. Okay, so I'm going to say this is about a quarter of, maybe a third of this package, and that looks like about a quarter of a tablespoon. So I'm going to put that in there. And that's pretty much it. I don't know how long this video is going to be by the time I'm done editing it, but technically, if you put all your stuff out together like I did, you should be done. So what, 15-20 minutes? I'm just going to shake this in here because I also want some of that stuff that fell out of there in there. All right, let me wipe this down. Now, here we go. I always use sanitizer in my air locks. Some people I know use vodka, some people just use water. And that's about right. All right, so I'm done, and I'm gonna put this on the shelf and watch the activity. The average time for fermentation is about 2 weeks or so. I should have done a gravity reading, but what I can do, because I have some juice left, because all I'm using is juice, I'll do a quick Brix reading. And I'm not well versed in what is what in Brix, so I'll do a Brix reading, say what it is, and then I'll pop down on the bottom there what it equates to. But just like everything else, this juice is really sweet too. It's going to be really good. All right, so right now it looks like I have a Brix of 11, 12, 13. And just like everything else, you try to get down to as close to water as possible. Now obviously things are denser because of the liquid and what's in the liquid, but the object of the game is to get as close to zero, which is water. So we'll see what happens. Most ciders you do is between 4 and 5% alcohol. You could definitely add some sugar, like maybe next time I'll add some Belgian candy sugar. I keep that on hand because I love using that. You could also use table sugar or corn sugar, anything to bump up the alcohol. I think a pound of either of those will probably bump you up 2 or 3%. You can add flavorings. I started using flavorings from Amaretti. This is white peach, and I also have pear to go along with a pear beer that I'm working with in the later episode. And you can do all kinds of things and just have fun with, you know, the flavors. Get it to where you want to be. You can also add fruit if you want to give you that fruit flavor, or juices or purees. There's a ton of stuff out there. I can go into it more in another episode. This was just kind of like to show you specifically my buddy Jesse, like how to do this really quickly, and you don't need a lot of fancy equipment, and you you don't have to tear your kitchen up to do it. So anyway, I'm going to be done for now. We're going to let this sit for 2 weeks. I'll be back with another video to show you what to do, how to clear it, and how to get it into whatever vessel you want to serve it in. Some people just transfer it into a cleaner vessel and just keep it in that in the fridge. If you want to carbonate it, we'll go over all that. So anyway, take care guys. I'll see you soon.